to all of you and a heartfelt namaste. I, Anuradha Sharda, would like to thank all of you for liking the videos, watching the videos, writing in your comments and your suggestions. We have, as you know, we are starting our basic course in astrology, and we have a lot of queries from people about this basic course. So in this video, I would be enlisting all the things that we will be learning in the basic course. First and foremost, we will be understanding the basics of astrology. The basic of astrology is also known as Vedang, Jyotish. Jyotish means the Veda, as from the Vedang, it is said to be a part of the Vedas, and it is said to be the eye of the Vedas. There are many parts of Jyotish like Ganita, Samhita, Shakuna, and lots of these would be touched on in the basic understanding of Jyotish to give a solid foundation, a smooth foundation on which we can grow as the years come. Hora is a very important aspect to understand because it connects us to a day-to-day Jyotish. If the Hora is good, we can do a lot of benefic work. In case of Hora of malefic planets or very strong planets, we can do strong things. All these things will be covered under Hora. The components of Panchang are very needed for introduction in astrology because it tells us what are the very foundations of astrology, and I would be touching base on them. When we are talking about astrology related to astronomy, I would be talking about understanding the Anayamsha and the zodiac belt. These things are important. Understanding the tropics, understanding the zodiac belt is important so that we can understand the difference between sidereal and tropical astrology, and we can understand the movement of planets against these components. When we talk about the 5 elements are very essential to understand, because even when the dasha of the elements come in, say because moon dasha comes in, the water element becomes strong. When the Mercury dasha moves in, the earth element becomes strong, and there is a distinct change in the nature of a person. So it is very important in dasha analysis. Also, when we are doing the basic analysis of a person, these elements give a very insight in the person's nature, psychology also. Because if your ascendant is, say, a Cancer ascendant, it's a water element, and it makes you empathetic, it makes you sensitive, it makes you intuitive, and makes you very protective about people around you. It is also, water also has a power of retention, so your memory could be very, very strong. All this we can understand just by knowing the element. When we work on elements and planets, any planet situated in a particular element will have a very strong essence. If your fifth lord is situated in a fire element, depending, say if it's the fifth lord is Mars and it is situated in a fire element, then it is a very strong indication that your children may be fiery in nature, they can be very progressive in nature, they can be very vivacious, and it can also hold the same truth about your knowledge, where you would be a go-getter, seeker, and you would always be thinking forward, thinking in your thought process. So much we can analyze, we can come to prediction about just through looking at the elements. When we talk about planets, there are 9 planets, including the 2 nodes, and we would be understanding their karakatvas right from the stories, the basic stories, Puranic stories, and to understand them very flawlessly and retain them. Also, the diseases of the planets, the nature of the planets, the signs associated with the planets, their taste, their gender, why it happens to be so, and how, and also about their exaltation and debilitation. Why does a planet have to exalt in a particular sign, and how it functions under these areas? If a planet is Digbali, where a planet is Digbali? If a planet is Digbali, how does it affect your chart and what it can give you? when we talk about friendship and enmity, then we will understand the basic nature of a planet and how they're being together, or they're aspecting a friendly planet or an enemy planet makes a difference. Also, aspects, a benefic aspect can give you a lot of relief in bad times, whereas a malefic aspect can create problems during a good period also. We will see that, we will come to conclusions, and as we will be taking up practical chart analysis in every class, we will also be working these aspects out in the classes. Finally, when we talk about houses, then we would be able to see what each house represents and how do we group houses. We can group houses through the elements, through their purushartha, through their um, uh, the way they function, and many such grouping, because each grouping will show a different activity, and planets in a particular group will reflect a particular mind frame or a particular prarabdha that needs to be covered. So, and then we also have the Kal Purusha Kundli. As per BPHS, the Kal Purusha Kundli is something that we all need to understand and work on. So, understanding the Kal Purusha Kundli with respect to a particular native chart will give us a great insight into the person's chart. Elements and purpose is also we would be covering. For example, if your third lord is present in the Capricorn, in the if your third house is Capricorn and your sun is present there, then it will definitely tell you that such a person would be a very vivacious person, a go-getter, will have a lot of work to do in their own profession, and will be very loud about whatever they do, because sun is the biggest planet. Sun is very strong wherever it sits, and in the third house showing courage. This person can have a lot of courage in their work, because Capricorn is the sign of work. And it can also be true for the younger brother, because the third house will also represent the younger brother. Finally, when we're talking about signs, as I just said about Capricorn, we know that Capricorn is a sign that gives us a lot of hard work. But when we put in about the third house, we understood that courage was something that was associated with it. And when Sun sat in that third house, it gave a person ultimate amount of courage to do what they want and be forward thinking about their work, about and be very courageous, not having any fear of anybody. So this 12 signs, what they represent, would be very nicely covered here, and predicting through the rashis just by looking that if your fifth house is a sensitive, fifth house is a watery sign, then you could have sensitive children. On the other hand, if the fifth house is um, the the sign of Capricorn, then you could have children who are very practical. If your fifth house is the fire sign of Aries, your children could be go-getter. So all these things we could work on, and practical working on these things, moving towards understanding the chart better, and also giving clear, very precise predictions can be done. Synthesis of houses, elements, signs, and planets is something we will be taking up in every class at the end, because of practice and making it more practical approach towards reading the charts. We will also be providing you with the reading material, PDFs, and the recordings, so that you can listen to them, read them time and again, and you can make your basics very strong. So if you want to register, you can directly go to the website and register for the for this basic course, or you can contact us on our WhatsApp number. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, like, share our videos, and stay safe, stay happy. Thank you.